Hey guys, welcome back to Average JoJo.
Yeah, I'm sweating. Yeah. In 2010, thought I was doing something, and now I'm rapping with a crew or something. I guess the track don't really stick unless he's gluing something, and I never.
I'm in my cozy, comfy hotel room. I'm in Columbus, Georgia, because I still have to work. Thankfully, I still get to work. I know a lot of you would like to be at work right now, and I have a lot of empathy for you. But I'm here to entertain and hopefully inform and keep your mind sharp while you're on quarantine. So I do have to travel for work, but don't worry, I am following CDC guidelines and I am still keeping up with social distancing methods. But yeah, so I am on the road and just felt like I had this on my mind and I wanted to jump right in. So let's get started. As you can see, the title of the video is There's a Monster Under Your Bed. And it's because that I believe we jump a lot into the emotional aspects of the news we hear. A lot of times we'll watch CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, Fox, and we see these big headlines. They are designed as news media outlets to appeal to our emotions, and so therefore we allow them to, and we get very emotionally driven based off what they say, but we aren't quick enough to jump to the facts. And I will say, I see this on both the left and the right. I see this really outside of politics as well, but politically I do see this more on the left, and that could just be me being a conservative that has more critiques of the left. If you disagree with me, please let me know below. But as a conservative and even as a new conservative, really, I haven't told y'all much about my political journey, but I am fairly new to the political game. But I've always kind of believed what I believe. I just didn't know what to call it. But anyway, me being who I am, more of a skeptical conservative, I do see this more on the left, and I also think it's a lot more obvious on the left, that they appeal more to the emotions, whereas we as conservatives, we always get flack for caring too much about facts or statistics and not enough about people, whereas I actually feel I'm very compassionate toward people. I'm a very compassionate person. I just feel the best way to get there is by more freedoms, less government overreach, and I also believe in statistics. I think statistics and facts can help point us to the right answer in solving these big social issues and economic issues as well. So let me jump into what I mean by a monster under your bed. Okay, so imagine you're 5 to 10 years old. You're a young child. You're told by your babysitter, or maybe a relative is babysitting you or whatever, your parents are out of town, and as their baby is tucking you in at night, they tell you there's a monster under your bed. Imagine them telling you over and over, there's a monster in your bed, there's a monster in your bed, there's a monster in your bed. I'm the one that can fight the monster. There's a monster in your bed. Let me go get this monster spray. I'll spray it. Now the monster's not there, right? But there's a monster under your bed. Then your parents come home, and one night they're tucking you in, right? They pay the babysitter. Thank you so much for looking after him, whatever. They leave. It's you and your parents. Your parents are tucking you into bed, and you go, can you use a monster spray? There's a monster under my bed. No matter what statistical data there is, you believe there's a monster under your bed. I will tell you this, throughout history, 100% of the time, there has not been a monster under the bed, not including like weird people, creeps, and pedophiles or whatever. But I'm talking about legitimate monsters. 100% of the time in history, there has not been a monster under the bed, right? Now, statistically, there's no monsters under your bed. But what you've been told is there's a monster under your bed. And the only way to take care of it is if an adult sprays this spray. Or the only way to take care of it is if the people that told you there was a monster under your bed remove the monster, right? Statistically and factually, there have never been monsters under any beds. So that's what I see kind of going on right now in our society. You see this toying with our emotions throughout the media everywhere, almost every day. It seems like a new story comes up about racist cops or racist conservatives or racist self-hating Jew, Ben Shapiro. Everything's racist these days also. Like, Can we come up with a different word? Not everything can be racist. It's kind of ridiculous. But you see these stories that are meant to kind of conjure fear, and then they tell you, they play to your emotions, they conjure up all this fear, and then they say, but don't worry, we're here for you. The government will fix this. Like the government's fixed anything ever. And I think that's a big problem I have, not only just with the media, but also with the left, because they're kind of playing together on this one. A lot of times it's the leftist bias in the media, especially media, big media like CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC. You see it throughout all of them. They really play to the left, and that's obvious. Everybody knows that. But this is kind of one of the bigger issues I have with them, is you never really hear them offer up a solution other than, hey, there's a monster under your bed, we'll take care of it, right? It's always, there's a monster under your bed, if you give us the power, then we'll take care of this. If you allow us to raise your taxes, then we'll fix the monster under your bed. And that's what it seems to be. I think the biggest difference I'm seeing right now between the left and the right is not necessarily a left-right split, but more of an up-down, an authoritarian versus libertarian split, which I've talked about in other videos. But, when you go right, I think you tend to kind of naturally go down toward libertarian as well when we look at that graph that we did the other day. And then when you go to the left, you kind of tend to go up toward, authoritarian. Obviously, there's people on all parts of the spectrum, but especially right now, in today's political climate, it seems like the further right, or if you're right-wing, you're generally a little lower on toward the libertarian side, and if you're left-wing, you're generally a little more toward the authoritarian side, right? You want to give more power to the government. You want to see more social safety nets put in place, and it's because you believe this monster under your bed myth. You believe these monster under your bed tales, and the only people that can fix it are the people telling you and screaming about it. Whereas if you go, okay, so maybe there is a monster under my bed. Let's look at the statistics about this, right? Is this a monster under my bed, or am I just being fed this by the media? Is this a monster under the bed, or is Nancy Pelosi just coming up with some BS like normal? I think conservatives get a lot of flack for this as well, because especially like me, I'm less likely to jump to a conclusion. I'm very skeptical, and I think a lot of conservatives are more of like skeptics, because it kind of stems from I'm skeptical of the government. I'm skeptical of the government. That's why I'm more of a conservative libertarian, is because I'm skeptical that they could do anything good. So I think I get, conservatives, we get a lot of flack for this. Like, for instance, with the Covington kids, when you had those kids that were wearing their MAGA hats, and the guy was beating on his drum, and the kid was just laughing, right? The media immediately took that and ran with it. It made him seem like a total monster, when really, again, they're telling you that this racist, white supremacist high schooler is triggering this Native American guy, yada yada. Like, they made it seem like they shouted, monster under your bed. Look out, there's monster under your bed, and it's white supremacy, right? They shouted this from the rooftops. But then, come to find out, literally just doing a little bit of diving, you didn't even have to reach deep for this one. Just a little bit of diving showed you, wait a second, those kids were there. There was a high school trip together. They were just standing there singing their alma mater song, and then you see the Black Israelites come up and approach them and start protesting these young kids who are just hanging out. And then from there, you see the Indian guy approach them and start banging a drum in their face. And what did the kid do? He stood there. And because he stood there, he took so much flack. It's like, it just didn't make any sense. But when you look at the actual video, and when you look factually at the video, it's like, okay, well, clearly that kid did nothing wrong, right? If anyone did anything wrong, it was this Native American guy banging a thing in his face, and then the Black Israelites that were there. It's a group called the Black Israelites that were cussing at these kids and calling them all sorts of names and whatnot. Like, that's ridiculous. These adult men are yelling at these kids, berating them, and they just sat there, right? They just stood there. But if you were to believe the monster under your bed, some people did, they still do, and they still haven't looked very deep into this video, and they still believe that kid is a white supremacist, racist kid who hates Native American people and wears MAGA hats because he hates all races except for white people, when that's just not the case at all. So I really want to encourage you, the next news cycle that comes out about whatever it is, whether it's anti-Trump, anti-conservative, because that's what it seems to be these days. Trump could sneeze wrong and people would lose their minds right now. For the record, I think he's done a pretty good job. I'm not Trump's biggest fan, but I think he's done a pretty good job with this COVID-19 stuff. If you disagree with me, put it down below, but I think he's done a pretty good job. And people that are giving him all sorts of crap for when the lady said she had a cough and a fever and he ducked away as a joke, people were losing their minds saying you shouldn't have a sense of humor while people are dying. Oh my gosh, give me a freaking break, guys. If anything right now, we could use a little sense of humor, right? When things are going wrong, you truly want me to believe that he's not spending every waking moment trying to do everything he can to get past this virus, get the economy back up and running and whatnot. It's just, people are so stupid, man. And that's what it is. People, what we do is we watch CNN, we watch MSNBC, we watch Fox, whatever it is. Pick your mainstream media of choice. You get fed the monster under your bed lie, and you run with it. Again, this happens on the right, but I see it far more on the left, and it's something that I have a real issue with. I have a real issue when it happens on either side, especially because I don't necessarily claim to be one side or the other. I do lean more right, but I am fairly libertarian as well. So, but I see it a lot more on the left, and it's something I have a real issue with. I like the saying, facts don't care about your feelings, but I know that triggers a lot of you. So, facts don't care about your feelings. Guys, please don't forget to like and share. We are still 23% away from our 100 subscriber goal, meaning we only have 23 subscribers, which is the same as last week and also the week before. So no growth there. So please share this video to people that you may trigger or think that will like it, and that way we can open up some honest discussions and hopefully have some civil discourse going forward. Like I said, I'm gonna start dropping merch. SJ and I have come up with a couple awesome ideas for merch, and so I'm really excited for that. And I don't want to drop it too early. So at 100 subscribers, I will drop merch, and you have my word on that. But yeah, get out there, like, subscribe, go have some conversations with people, and I will see you next week. Don't get COVID-19. Hey guys, it's me, JoJo. If you liked what you saw, please consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that share button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, and please comment below any future videos you'd like to see. Thanks. See you later.